We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Josh. First, Josh wants to install a 3.1 speaker system in his wide-open, double-height, open-concept great room. He already has rhythmic FV15 HP or a single rhythmic FV15 HP. So 15-inch woofer with a port and high-powered thing. Oh, that's what HP stands for.
Yep.
That's
one of those beasts that can play even a little bit louder than the 13 Ultra series from SVS for a lower price. That's one of those beast subs, so it's a good choice.
And he's willing to spend as much as $5,000 for the 3 front speakers. They need to be in walls with magnetic paintable grills. Obviously, it's a huge space and the floor is concrete. He'll have a rug, but it's as far as absorption goes. That's a problem. And the walls where the speakers would be installed has a master bedroom on the other side, so sound leakage is a problem as well, or at least a concern.
Yeah.
With all that working against him, is it even worth spending big bucks on the speakers? Or would it be wiser to save money, a lot of money, and go with much cheaper speakers? First of all, the sound leakage into your bedroom is going to be more of a problem with that massive subwoofer than it's going to be with the speakers.
Well, the speakers are in the wall.
Yeah.
So that's an issue.
All right, anyway, so he was primarily considering the CAF THX in walls, but they're expensive and don't have backer boxes. So if they're not worth it, what do we suggest instead?
So just to clarify on the backer box thing, it is weird because they don't sell backer boxes for them. Not that I could find anyway. Yeah. But they do have a PDF suggesting cabinet volumes for them. So this is supposed to be an installer deal. They have the dimensions for cabinets that are supposed to be installed in the bays of the walls to house the speakers. So they are meant to have a backer box. It's just they apparently expect you to build your own, or your installer to build them. So that is part of the consideration there. They do have backer boxes. It's just not ones that they sell.
So if you end up going with this speaker or any other speaker, backer box provided or no, the way to insulate yourself here is to, if you can, decouple the speaker from the wall somewhat, as much as you can. Which might
if
involve,
you can take down the drywall of that party wall and turn it into a staggered stud, that'd be awesome. That would be the preference if there's some way to do that.
And then with it, behind, inside the bay with the speaker, you want to, as much as you can, fill it with insulation. That'll just absorb any backward,
and ringing.
Inside
you don't
the
want
wall.
It ringing in there, man.
Yeah, that's the best that you can really do to stop sound transmission from the speaker through the other side to the bedroom.
Yeah, and you can actually construct quite a soundproof back box by using things that are recommended, like from Soundproofing Company, which is 2 layers of material with constrained layer damping. That's like the green glue, something that never hardens in between them. That'll give you a very sound deadening barrier as your backer box. So you can absolutely do that with any in-wall speaker. And most in-wall speakers, if they don't list it right on the specs, if you contact the manufacturer, they'll let you know what internal volume you should have for any enclosure inside the wall holding that speaker. So you can always have a backer box for any in-wall speaker. You might just have to build it yourself, that's all.
Right. So basically what we're saying is you are not limited to buying speakers where they say on the website they have a backer box. You can get this done for any in-wall speaker that you are interested in. So in a lot of ways, that actually makes it harder for you. That means that you are now, the whole world's open to you, and you have to kind of try to figure out which speakers that you want. And there's a lot of them out there. My go-to for basically any sort of architectural speaker is RBH. If you can. RBH has a wide range of speaker lines, and some of them are really expensive, and some of them are, well, not as expensive. But they EMP Tech, of course, is their budget line, but it goes up quite a bit from there. So you can find something within that line that will sound good.
And RBH
And
does sell pre-made backer boxes or enclosures. They have those foam back enclosures as well for some of them. But they do sell some form of enclosure for pretty much all of their in-wall or in-ceiling speakers.
what you really want to worry about here is how far away you're sitting from these speakers, because this is a really big room.
And it also sounds like it's going to be an echoey room.
Exactly. So you need to figure out, maybe even call, if you're going to go with RBH, which there's other options out there, figure out what, and Kraft would have been is a great option as well with their concentric drivers. Excuse me. Their concentric drivers that helps sort of focus the sound a little bit, not as quite as much dispersion, so that it's not bouncing around the room quite as much. It's not a panacea. It's not going to fix everything, but it might help a little bit.
And you don't have to necessarily go all the way to their top of the line THX series.
Yeah.
Maybe come down a series or two from KEF. That's entirely a possibility.
So talk to RBH as well.
Yeah.
They're very helpful. And when you call it, RBH is, and it sounds like this big company because they make all these speakers. It's really not that big of a company. You call there, you're probably going to talk to somebody that maybe actually help design your speaker that you're talking about.
It could be one of their engineers, which is unusual.
It is not uncommon for that to happen when you call. So give them a call.
Yeah. Now I was thinking, sounds like a big space.
Yeah.
Sounds like aesthetics are a concern, because he's talking about you want the paintable grills and all that. I was thinking maybe you go for a horn-loaded type of speaker here because you don't need as many watts to get it to play loud. The horn is more directional, so maybe that'll help you a little bit in your echoey room. So I was like, you know what? Klipsch could be a very good choice here.
It's funny. We were just talking about Klipsch with the last person and saying how EMP Tech, which is RBH, we thought it was when they were comparing those two speakers. But in this case, I kind of agree. Klipsch might be a real good choice here.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for a design that will work very well given a set of circumstances. And Klipsch has backer boxes for their speakers. They have THX certified speakers as well, if that's important to you for some reason, that are within the budget that you specified. And then if you want to go for something that's much less expensive but still horn loaded, very efficient, and can actually absorb still a lot of power, HSU. They have their HIW-1 in-wall speakers, which are horn-loaded, 92 dB efficient, but could absorb 250 watts. They don't come with backer boxes. They don't sell backer boxes, but you can get in touch with them and say, hey, what's a good volume if I'm going to put this in a backer box? And they'll let you know. So, I mean, that's a swath of different choices. But I do kind of agree with you. I do believe that your room setting is a limiting factor.
Yeah.
I would not spend oodles and oodles of money on speakers given this setting and given that you're not going to be able to acoustically treat it, because it is a little bit of a, what's the weakest link in your chain? And I think your room is significantly a weaker link in your chain. I might go for something that's efficient, more directional, although I really do like RBH as well. So
yeah.
I don't know how much help that is. God, yeah.
I have seen rooms like the one he's kind of describing where somebody has installed those cat speakers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the California Audio?
California Audio Technology. Yeah, they're like floor to ceiling, like in a big room like you're talking about, which is woofer, 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 mid.
Oh, so line array.
Tweeters.
Yeah, well, line array would work well in a room like this. Yeah, it would.
It would, but yeah, those are like $250,000 a pair or a piece or something. So clearly that's not your solution. But a line array would be a good choice here as well. But try finding one in your price range. That would be awful.
I think we did help a bit though, which is that I think we both agree spending all of your money on the speakers doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So
I don't think so.
Out of those ones we suggested, I think you can find something that's less expensive that'll suit your decor. Sure. Yeah.
I feel like you could spend $3,000 or less. I feel like.
So maybe that's like the RBH MC series.
Yeah, I feel like that's be good.
Yeah.
Second, he has a dedicated 15 by 18 foot theater room. So he's using Ascend Acoustics Horizon RAW speakers for the LCR, the left, center, and right, and Sierra Lunas for surrounds and surround backs. He went with a Denon AVR X6300H to minimize the number of devices in his AV rack. He'll end up with a 7.2.4 setup, and he wants to know if the 6300 is really up to the task of powering 11 speakers by itself, or should he buy an external amplifier to help it out? And he wants as low a noise floor as possible and reference volume without distortion. So does he need an external amp? And if so, which one? Ooh. Zero noise floor? Yes, you need an external amp. Zero? But what do you mean by zero?
As possible, not necessarily.
Well, as low
zero.
as possible from where you're sitting, or as low as possible from I have my ear on the tweeter. I am pulling a Rob light right now. So, okay. First of all, I think that you should probably get, if you're going to have 7.2.4, I think that if I were you, I would get an external amplifier for anything above 7 channels.
I'm kind of in agreement with that. Yeah,
I think if you go below, if you're really worried about noise floor, you may run into some hissing or humming or something as you're trying to power 9 or 11 speakers with this.
I've yet to come across a receiver where I can attach more than 7 speakers to it and not have the noise floor rise at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like end of the world stuff. I'm talking plenty of people would attach 11 speakers to it and go, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. But
yes.
I mean, there's two sides of this. One, you're not in a huge room, right? 15 by 18, nice size for a theater, but it's not gigantic.
Yeah.
So on the one side, to hit reference volume, you don't need a ton of watts. So that's really not the concern. But on the other side, 15 by 18 means you're not sitting really far away from any of these speakers. So if there is a noise floor, you're more likely to hear it, right? So you don't really need the external amplifier because you need more watts, right? The Ascend speakers are easy loads to drive, and you're sitting close enough to them, you don't need a ton of watts. But if it's going to be anything, you're sitting close enough, you might hear the noise floor. So I'm like, maybe you get an Emotiva BasX 5-channel amp, right? Because that's going to give you 110 watts per channel, which is like basically the same as what the receiver, gives per channel.
Not that it matters, but yes.
But, it's offloading some of those channels, and it's $500. So it's not like blowing up your budget, but I mean, honestly, what I would do is try it because the worst case scenario is you swap some binding posts from the back of your 6300 to the back of a separate amp at a later date, right? So I would have no problem trying, even if it's only temporary, and seeing for yourself. Is this noise floor too objectionable? If it is, then I'm like $500 for a nice 5-channel amp from Emotiva. To me, that's the reasonable thing to do here.
Yeah, so you're using it to power your top 4 speakers.
Oh no, power your fronts and surrounds with it. Why not?
Can you reassign the fronts to? This is one of those ones.
Sure can.
I hate
yes,
that.
You can.
I hate it because I don't have it.
Now, I'll just throw this out there because maybe he has a much bigger. Maybe money isn't the concern. Maybe he's like, I'm fine spending $1,500 on an amp. That's really not a big thing. If you want that, if you want the lowest noise floor out there, Monoprice Monolith, which are made by ATI, right? Tremendous value. Way more watts than you need. But
an order of magnitude or 2, yes.
Yeah, but you could get theirs, and that is a shockingly low noise floor. So like if you got the 5-channel version of the Monolith amp, that's $1,300, right? Way more than the Emotiva 5-channel amp, but if that's not, a ton of money to you, then that's a heck of a nice amp.
Get like 2 of them plus 1 more. And then you could power all of them that way.
Well, 1 5 and 1 7, one left over for your voice of God.
One left over. You got voice. That's right, voice of God. For that Bollywood movie that you just can't live without.
Yeah.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.